In February 2025, President Trump signed an executive order that removed a rule preventing federal contractors from running segregated facilities. This means that companies or business owners who work with the federal government are no longer explicitly required to avoid separate facilities for different racial groups. However, this only affects the contractual language. It does not make segregation legal. And you have to remember that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 is still in place. You can still sue these businesses and come after their asses if they do discriminate against you based on one of the protected characteristics that are listed in the Civil Rights Act of 1964. An executive order is just something that's done with the swipe of the president's pen. It does not override or repeal the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And the reason for that is because a president cannot undo federal law with an executive order. For example, when Trump's term ends, the next president can come behind him and undo every last executive order that he signed. And I was watching a recent video of this African male who stated that he was very confused as to why FBAs were rejoicing and smiling and happy about what they thought was segregation. At this point, even if that were the case, it would only unify our community, and we would take our money and just spend it internally. But I do want to share something else with you. While I'm not a big supporter of this preacher or what he stands for politically, I do agree with this message, and this might help you to understand why FBAs are not concerned about a rollback on segregation or anything else for that matter.
Ladies and gentlemen, I ain't even mad. I feel bad for the brown people who thought they were better than black people, who are now facing deportation. I feel bad for the white women who didn't realize they were the real DEI hires and were gonna lose their job. I feel bad for Columbia and Emory and Johns Hopkins losing $300, $400, and $800 million, but HBCUs ain't never had that kind of money. I feel bad for the Tesla dealerships that gotta close because they lost $900 billion since December because they forgot it ain't electricity, it's people that power this nation. I feel bad for them. A little bit, until I remember the words of that black sister with cornrows. Until you do right by me, nothing you do is gonna work.
We ain't never scared, never scared. We ain't never scared, never scared. Last time, never scared, never scared.
And another thing is, I have to admit, I have never been a protester. I will never be a protester. I'm not putting myself in harm's way. But at this point, as a collective, black people are not protesting for anyone else. You can do as many videos as you want. You can do as many women's marches as you want. You can do as many hands-off marches as you want. I did hear that there's one coming up in April. And I think it's pretty fair for me to speak for the entire group when I say, we are not coming. You will not use black people as human shields or give anybody any reasons to declare martial law. We are not coming. If anybody is going to be placing their bodies on the line, it's going to be you who are out there in attendance. It's not going to be black people. If you see any black people out there, they are not foundational black Americans. You might see one or two, but if they are out there, they are on their own. The black community is not protesting. It's not our fight.